the near future or even in the far distance. The fact remains that whatever was prophesied was to happen. And when we compare the Bibles, we discover that through the scriptures, these prophecies were fulfilled. Another third prophecy that was fulfilled, we find it in Ezekiel's prophecy concerning the capture of King Zedekiah and how he would be taken to Babylon without seeing the city. We find that it's true that King Zedekiah was captured, was taken, and he entered that city when his eyes had been gouged out, just the way it was written in Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 13. You compare it with Jeremiah 52, verse 10, that it was prophesied that King Zedekiah would be taken captive, and by the time he was to enter the city, his eyes would not see. And it's true that he was taken when his eyes had been gouged, so he could not see. This is a reminder to us that we have several prophecies prophesied about our life, our salvation, and where we are, and where we are going to. So when we find these things happening, it gives us more confidence. It gives us more courage to face the future, so that when we are in this travel or in the journey to heaven, whatever was prophesied that would happen to us, we know it will happen. Another prophecy of interest is the prophecy concerning the birth, death, and resurrection of our Savior, Jesus Christ, which were foretold in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7, and even in Isaiah chapter 53. They were fulfilled as narrated in the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These things were foretold that a son would be born, and then we would have a son, Emmanuel, with us. And then he was to die, and then he was to resurrect, and he was to be the Savior of the world. And this one happened. And if this happened the way it was prophesied, then even today we know that whatever we are being told is true. We are told to walk in the Bible, to search in the Bible, to see and prove if these prophecies really came true. Then, last but not least, among checking the prophecies that I would like us also to remind ourselves is the prophecy on the place of the Messiah's birth. It was also fulfilled with exact accuracy. We find that Micah had predicted 700 years earlier that Messiah was to be born in Bethlehem of Judah. If we read Micah 5, verse 2. Micah, may I ask the congregation, because it wasn't a sermon, somebody to read for us Micah 5, verse 2?
Interest.
Yes.
And that is quite an indication of a person who is
Thank you. We discovered that it was foreseen, it was predicted 700 years even before Christ was born, that in Judah, in Bethlehem of Judah, a Messiah would be born. And for this to happen, we find that Caesar Augustine issued a decree requiring all his subjects to go back to their places of birth to be registered for taxation. And in this process, Joseph took with him his wife, Mary, who was expectant, or the mother of Jesus, and they went together to Bethlehem, where he left Bethlehem, where he was working as a carpenter, and took his expectant wife and traveled with her to Bethlehem in Judah to participate in the registration which had been registration exercise. And while they were there in Bethlehem, we are told that Jesus was born. And when the wise men came and they were looking for a savior, we find that the king of that time also was asking, where has the king been born? And we find that it was in Bethlehem of Judah. And then we went ahead to quote the prophecy of Micah in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 6, to prove that that was what happened. Or even Luke chapter 1, verse 1, Luke chapter 2, verse 1 to 7. Let's read Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 and 6 to see if it is really true that that prophecy was really fulfilled the way it was prophesied. Uh-huh. Therefore, from there we discover that what had been prophesied by prophet Micah came to be true, that a king was to be born in Bethlehem of Judah. And in Luke, in the New Testament, we discover that prophecy or prediction being fulfilled. And after searching the Bible this much, after hearing of the prophecies or the predictions, which some are conditional and some are unconditional, then what should be the Christian attitude towards Bible prophecy? What should be our attitude towards Bible prophecy? Let's read 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19 to get our attitude, because we said that we have a constitution, and it is in that constitution where we get our instruction. It is through that constitution that we get how we should walk in this walk to heaven. What is it? How does it say? 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. Mm-hmm.